Mm-hmm.
So we still have oaths from yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Do you want your tea?
Yes. Thank you, Didi. Jaya.
Don't get me on camera.
Thank you, Didi.
There you go. Yes, of course.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Abhadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Ratha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Press. I first offer my respects unto the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual masters and the recruiting spiritual masters and advanced Vaishnavas. Next, I offer my obeisances to my Shastra Gurus, Srila Rupa Goswami, his elder brother, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami. On a higher platform, I offer my respects unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came with his paraphernalia and associates, along with those great personalities, Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Acharya. And in the highest stage, I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Ratha and Govinda, and all of the gopis, headed by Lalita Devi and Vishaka Devi. Umma Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Applying the soothing salve of Sambandha Gyan, a proper acquaintance with environment, my spiritual master has opened my inner eye and thereby rescued me from the darkness of ignorance. Fulfilling my life's aspirations, I offer my respects unto Sri Gurudev. Vamcha kalpataruvyascha kripa sindhuvya evacha patitanam pavanevyo vaishnavevyo namo namaha. I bow down unto the holy feet of the pure Vaishnavas, who are like desired trees, able to fulfill all the devotees' aspirations. The Lord's devotees are comparable to a vast ocean of causeless mercy. As they deliver the fallen souls from material existence, I offer all respects unto them. Vrindaya tulasi devyai priyayai keshavasya cha Krishna bhakti pradidevi satyavatyai namo namaha. I eternally offer my respects unto Sri Vrindadevi, Srimati Tulasi Maharani, who is the dearmost object of Lord Keshava's affection. I bow down before Satyavati, who can bestow pure dedication to Lord Krishna. Sakala Vaishnava Parimora Namaskar, Ite Kichwa Paradanahu Kamara. Oya Chenno Ben Prabhu Jatto Bhakta Jan, Bandana Koryami Savara Charana. I respectfully bow to the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas, praying that there is no offense in my attempt to please them. To all Vaishnavas who have been, and all Vaishnavas who shall be, I offer my obeisances to their lotus feet. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasai Shri Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dandavat, dear devotees. Today we're going to continue reading our divine guardians. In this case, we're reading from Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj and His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki Jai. Jai Hari Lila Volume 1 ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai. Jai Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. We are reading chapter number 2 of the Adi Lila volume 1. And chapter number 2, Srila Krishna Kaviraj is describing the third verse out of the 14 verses. And this third verse, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj describes it as an auspicious vibration that describes the absolute truth. So in the past few texts, we have been hearing about the different realizations of the absolute truth, which are the impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the original personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Srila Prabhupada has been giving us the understanding of what is what, which is which, what are the difference between those different realizations, and the differences between those who are pursuing those different realizations. In the last purport, we read the meaning about Bhagavan, the Bhagavan word, which meant sustainer, protector, leader, pusher, creator, and dwelling. And Srila Prabhupada connected that to our position, meaning that, and I'm going to read what Srila Prabhupada said. For his devotees, the Lord creates a favorable condition for developing a sense of transcendental love of Godhead. Sometimes he does this by taking away a devotee's material attachments by force and baffling all his material protective agents. For thus, the devotee must completely depend on the Lord's protection. In this way, the Lord proves himself the leader of his devotees. So Va means sustainer and protector. And then the letter Ga means leader, pusher, and creator. He's the sustainer, the protector, the leader, the pusher, the creator. And as his devotees, our duty is to completely depend on the Lord's protection. Alright, now we're going to read text 11 of the Adi Lila volume 1. Vadanti tat tatvabidas tatvanyak gyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavamiti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that is non-dual knowledge, and it's called impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Purport. This Sanskrit verse appears as the 11th verse of the first canto, second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sutta Goswami answers the questions of the sages headed by Saunaka Rishi concerning the essence of all scriptural instructions. Tattvavidaha refers to persons who have knowledge of the absolute truth. They can certainly understand knowledge without duality because they are on the spiritual platform. The absolute truth is known sometimes as Brahman, sometimes as Paramatma, and sometimes as Bhagavan. Persons who are in knowledge of the truth know that one who tries to approach the absolute simply by mental speculation will ultimately realize the impersonal Brahman. And one who tries to approach the absolute through yoga practice will be able to realize Paramatma. But one who has complete knowledge and spiritual understanding realizes the spiritual form of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Devotees of the personality of Godhead know that Sri Krishna, the son of the king of Braja, is the absolute truth. They do not discriminate between Sri Krishna's name, form, quality, and pastimes. One who wants to separate the Lord's absolute name, form, and qualities from the Lord himself must be understood to be lacking in absolute knowledge. A pure devotee knows that when he chants the transcendental name Krishna, Sri Krishna is present as transcendental sound. He therefore chants with his full respect and veneration. When he sees the forms of Sri Krishna, he does not see anything different from the Lord. If one sees otherwise, he must be considered untrained in absolute knowledge. This lack of absolute knowledge is called Maya. One who is not Krishna conscious is ruled by the spell of Maya under the control of a duality in knowledge, good or bad. In the Absolute, all manifestations of the Supreme Lord are non-dual, just as the multifarious forms of Vishnu, the controller of Maya, are non-dual. Empiric philosophers who pursue the impersonal Brahman accept only the knowledge that the personality of the living entity is not different from the personality of the Supreme Lord. And mystic yogis who try to locate the Paramatma accept only the knowledge that the pure soul is not different from the super soul. The absolute conception of a pure devotee, however, includes all others. A devotee does not see anything except in its relationship with Krishna, and therefore his realization is the most perfect of all. Srila Prabhupada is still contrasting the differences between the three different realizations of the Absolute Truth, which are impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Those who want to achieve absolute truth through knowledge, through mental speculation, they achieve the impersonal Brahman. They merge, they become one with the marginal potency of the Lord. And those who want to achieve the absolute truth through mystic yoga or through yoga practices, they achieve the Paramatma. But those who want to achieve the absolute truth by seeing Krishna behind everything, the realization is the most perfect of all. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Let's continue. Text 12. Tanhara Angira Shuddha Kirana Mandala Upanishad Kahitanra Brahma Sunirmala. What the Upanishads call the transcendental, impersonal Brahman, is the realm of the glowing effulgence of the same Supreme Person. Purport. 3 mantras of the Mundaka Upanishad give information regarding the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They state, Hiranmaye pareko shevirajam brahmanishkalam taschubram gyotisham yotish tadyat atma vido viduhu natatra suryobhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bantikutoyam agnihi tammeva bantam anubhati sarvam tasya basa sarvam idam vibhati brahmai bedam amritam purastat brahma paschat brahma dakshinatas chotarinna adash kordvam cha prashritam brahmai vedam vishvam idam marishtam. In the spiritual realm, beyond the material covering, is the unlimited Brahman effulgence, which is free from material contamination. That effulgent white light is understood by transcendentalists to be the light of all lights. In that realm, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity for illumination. Indeed, whatever illumination appears in the material world is only a reflection of that supreme illumination. That Brahman is in front and in back, in the north, south, east, and west, and also overhead and below. In other words, that supreme Brahman effulgence spreads throughout both the material and the spiritual skies. Text 13. Karma kakshadeke yaiche surya nirvishesha. Jnana marge laite nare krishnera vishesha. Translation. As with the naked eye, one cannot know the sun except as a glowing substance, merely by philosophical speculation, one cannot understand Lord Krishna's transcendental varieties. Text 14. Yasya prabha prabhapto yagat andakoti kotish ashesha bashudat dibibhuti bitnam tad branam niksha kalamanantamashesha bhutam govindadi purusham tam aham bhajami. Translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. This is a verse from the Brahma Samhita. I don't know. Yeah, 540. Is the verse number 40 of the Brahma Samhita. This verse appears in the Brahma Samhita. Each and every one of the countless universes is full of innumerable planets with different constitutions and atmospheres. All these come from the unlimited non-dual Brahman, or complete whole, which exists in absolute knowledge. The origin of that unlimited Brahman effulgence is the transcendental body of Govinda, who is offered respectful obeisances as the original and Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 15. Koti koti brahmande ye brahmera vibhuti sei brahma govindera haya anga kanti. Translation. Lord Brahma said, the opulences of the impersonal Brahman spread throughout the millions and millions of universes. That Brahman is but the bodily effulgence of Govinda. Text 16. Sei Govinda vaji ami tehon mora pati tanhara prasade mora haya shristi shakti. Translation. I worship Govinda. He is my Lord. Only by His grace I am empowered to create the universe. Purport. Although the sun is situated far away from the other planets, its rays sustain and maintain them all. Indeed, the sun diffuses its heat and light all over the universe. Similarly, the Supreme Sun, Govinda, diffuses his heat and light everywhere in the form of his different potencies. The sun's heat and light are none different from the sun. In the same way, the unlimited potencies of Govinda are none different from Govinda himself. Therefore, the all-pervasive Brahman is the all-pervasive Govinda. The Bhagavad Gita in chapter 14, verse 27, clearly mentions that the impersonal Brahman is dependent upon Govinda. That is the real conception of absolute knowledge. So far, Srila Prabhupada is helping us understand what is the difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and just the impersonal Brahman realization. And for that, he's quoting the Brahma Samhita and the the Bhagavad Gita. Text 17. Munnayobata vasanaha shramanna udrva mantinaha brahmakyam damate yanti shanta sanyasino mallaha. Translation: naked saints and sannyasis who undergo severe physical penances, who can raise the semen to the brain, and who are completely equiposed in Brahman, can live in the realm known as Brahmaloka. Purport: in this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhattavasanaha refers to mendicants who do not care about anything material, including clothing, but who depend wholly on nature. Such sages do not cover their bodies even in severe winter or scorching sunshine. They take great pains not to avoid any kind of bodily suffering, and they live by begging from door to door. They never discharge their semen, either knowingly or unknowingly. By such celibacy, they are able to raise the semen to the brain. Thus, they become most intelligent and develop very sharp memories. Their minds are never disturbed or diverted from contemplation on the absolute truth, nor are they ever contaminated by desire for material enjoyment. By practicing austerities under strict discipline, such mendicants attain a neutral state transcendental to the modes of nature and merge into the impersonal Brahman. We will continue reading this wonderful chapter 2, which describes the absolute truth in the three main different stages, which are impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And right now we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada what are the characteristics of those who are trying to attain the impersonal Brahman. Very interesting. Yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki Jai, Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai, Jai Srila Isi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Centenary Anthology, Pastimes, Glories, and Teachings of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Raka Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. We'll read in part 1, chapter 1, called Siksha Guru. And this chapter is describing the intimate relationship between Srila Prabhupada and Srila Guru Maharaj. How Srila Prabhupada considers Srila Srila Maharaj his Siksha Guru, and how he will ask advices from him. And yeah, the last thing that we read was a conversation that was transcribed in March 1977 between Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and a devotee. And essentially, this conversation Here, in their final meeting, Srila Prabhupada prophetically refers to his imminent disappearance and reveals that it is in this connection that he has come to Srila Srila Maharaj. In friendly jesting, they discuss Srila Srila Maharaj's reticence regarding large-scale preaching work. Of himself, Srila Srila Maharaj has remarked, "I did not want to become a big person. That is not my nature. I did not want to move around with many people. I am just satisfied with whatever I have. My spiritual thinking is my life. The conclusions of the scriptures, the advices of the Mahajans, to release them and practice them, and to discuss them all in a small confidential circle. That is the main goal of my life. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, quoting Dhruva Maharaj, writes, "My dear Lord, I am fully satisfied with whatever you have given me. I have nothing else to ask from you, for I am fully satisfied to be engaged in your service." This is the mentality of a pure devotee who does not want anything material or spiritual from the personality of Godhead. Our Krishna consciousness movement is therefore called Krishna Bhavanamrita Sangha, the association of persons who are simply interested in thoughts of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada testifies to his having personally heard Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mark the high qualifications of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, whom he had once requested to go to the West. In this regard, Srila Sridhar Maharaj once remarked, "My Guru Maharaj wanted me to go to the West for preaching, but I don't consider myself a fit person to preach in the West, because, you see, I can't follow your intonation. So, laughing, I must listen clearly, then I shall tell." So, in this way, I told that if you order, I must go, but I don't think that I am fit to preach in the West. Anyhow, it was stopped, and Goswami Maharaj, meaning Srila Prabhupada, was sent to the West. When Srila Sridhar Maharaj had been selected, one of his god brothers came to him and revealed the reason why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had chosen him to preach in the West. This god brother explained, "Do you know why Prabhupada wanted you to be sent to the West?" he said. To the god. So, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, god brother, asked him, "Do you know why Prabhupada wanted you to be sent to the West?" And then Srila Guru Maharaj replied, "Because he can't be converted." And just 24 hours before his departure from this mortal world, Srila Prabhupada called for his beloved disciple. Not Srila Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called for his beloved disciple, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and asked him to sing the song of Narottam Das Thakur, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. The lotus feet of Rupa Manjari are my treasure. Srila Sridhar Maharaj recalls, "So I did, hesitantly. My nature is always hesitating, pushing back. Then Kunja Babu asked me to stop. I was not a good singer. As soon as he suggested, I stopped. Then Kunja Babu asked Puri Maharaj of Kalna, 'You sing.' So he began. Then Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was a little disturbed. 'I don't like to hear the sweet tune of the song,' he said. Then he stopped, and I had to begin again with Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, Say Mora Sampada. He wanted me to sing that song. That is the fulfillment of life of every one of us, to be Rupanuga, followers of Sri Rupa. Senior godbrothers who witnessed this exchange have described it as a mystic transmission in which Srila Sridhar Maharaj was given admittance into the eternal entourage of Sri Rupa Manjari. Srila Sridhar Maharaj's humble vision, however, is that he was posted as the gatekeeper, the guardian of devotion, Bhakti Rakshak, to protect the storehouse of conclusive truths about the full-fledged theistic conception of Sri Krishna, as given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Further expressing his appreciation for Srila Sridhar Maharaj's high realizations in Krishna consciousness, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj says, I want to take you everywhere. At least at the place we have in Mayapur. People are coming from all over the world. Why don't you stay there? Sometimes it is wondered by Srila Srila Maharaj apparently did not take up Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj's offer. So, Srila Prabhupada is asking Srila Guru Maharaj. He's inviting him to the temple in Mayapur, which is receiving Western devotees and from all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada is asking Srila Srila Maharaj, why don't you stay there? Sometimes it is wondered why Srila Srila Maharaj apparently did not take up Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj's offer. Srila Srila Maharaj explains, I said, of course, I shall try to help you. Sometimes I shall go and stay there with you. But I really did not think at the time that I shall survive him. Finally, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, meaning Srila Prabhupada, refers to that planetarium. Srila Srila Maharaj is very fond of Sanatana Goswami's most famous work, the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, in which devotees, devotional service, and Krishna are described very scientifically. On the basis of this transcendental literature, Srila Srila Maharaj had contemplated an elaborate preaching exhibition, showing graphically, with the use of dioramas, depicting the varieties of material and spiritual planetary systems. How the ultimate spiritual destination is Krishna's own abode, Goloka Vrindavan. Due to insufficient funds, Srila Srila Maharaj humbly submitted his idea to Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, who approved, saying, it will be built under your direction. And just prior to his departure from this mortal world, Srila Prabhupada advised his senior disciples that in his absence, when the necessity arose to consult higher authority, that they should consult Srila Srila Maharaj. In conclusion, we humbly submit that the transcendental relationship between Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj and Srila Guru Maharaj be viewed and respected in terms of their eternal spiritual positions and long-standing and appreciation, affection for one another. Since the departure of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, the guardian of devotion, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj, has repeatedly protected the teachings of the disciplic succession from perversion and misrepresentation, as he has done for more than half a century, and has come to be recognized as a Jagat Guru or World Acharya. Thus ends chapter number 1, Siksha Guru of the Centenary Anthology. And essentially this chapter was describing the intimate relationships of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Srila Maharaj and their different natures. Srila Srila Maharaj was very humble, pushing back, and hesitant, but with very deep and high realizations. There is a part of this chapter where Srila Prabhupada is describing that one time one of his disciples was hearing Srila Prabhupada and Srila Guru Maharaj having a conversation in Bengali. And then the disciple of Srila Prabhupada asked him, what were you guys talking about? And Srila Prabhupada said, if I will tell you, you will faint. Srila Guru Maharaj has high realizations. So this chapter 1, through stories like that, was describing us, sharing with us their intimate relationship And of course, highlighting the high position of Srila Guru Maharaj. Like very high position. Jai Centenary Anthology Ki, Jai Jai Srila Bhakti Raka Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. And Jai Shripad Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Because this chapter is an excerpt from The Garden of Devotion compiled by Shripad Goswami Maharaj. Would you like to lead Hariharaya? Here. What was that? There's another frame there. Okay. Yeah. Hari Haraya Nama Krishnaya Davaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Srimad Sudana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mokana Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Radhathara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunatha Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunatha Shri Gopala Bhakta Jai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana Jai Devinana Savita Purana Jai Gosai Jara Mohita Radhasa Rasavara Padare Numura Pancharasa Kavira Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivasa Janame Morai Avilasa Jai Gosai Jabe Vraje Koila Vasa Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Koila Prakasa Anande Guru Hari Vajavindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Majai Jamana Shri Guru Vaishnava Para Padma Kuriyasa Hari Nama Sankirtana Kote Narottam Bhagasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hari Gora Hari Yo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo. Jai Vishnu Shila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Shila Bhakti Raka Shila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Guru Varga ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gurudev Chaitanya ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna ki Jai. Jai Nanda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Jai all assembled devotees ki Jai. Jai Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission ki Jai. Gold Gardens ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Dandavat, dear devotees online. Have a glorious and meaningful day. Hari Bol.